Good afternoon. I hope audio and video is clear. Let me know if the audio and video is clear. Thank you. We'll wait for just a couple of seconds for others to join. Now today this is our first Super Saturday episode. First of Super Server. Jishan, good afternoon. Good to have you back after some days, I believe. Okay, so are you all ready for the Super Saturday quiz? Everyone ready? Hmm? I have got some very interesting, some very new questions for you today that will really test your knowledge of pharmacology. So Krishna Turtle, G. Andrew, Lost Doctor, Ramanathan, Monica, Jishan. I can see a lot of students, Tara, Amit, Naveen, Shaheen, Jaydev. Welcome all of you, Shiva. Welcome all of you. Now we will start with the Super Saturday quiz. Super Saturday quiz. As I promised, I have got the latest pattern MCQ, and that latest pattern in this session is the clinical scenario based or clinically integrated question. So they will be really interesting questions. As all the time, these are not just any repeat question. They are new questions, but they are based on important properties. So I hope you will enjoy. Please provide your feedback continuously during the class. So if you have you all have downloaded, but please recommend the NEET Academy app to all your juniors, friends, so that they can also crack NEET PG. Good afternoon, Anjana. Nice to have you. Unacademy brings you the best educators. Please, now all of you, see, all of you are watching my classes and other educators' classes on Unacademy, mostly special classes. But it is high time that you think seriously about the subscription to the Plus or the Iconic. You can use the Dr. Arpit Agarwal, and it will give you a 10% discount on your entire subscription, whether you go for Iconic, which gives you both Unacademy and Prep Ladder, or you can opt for the Plus subscription. And please, you can start with 1 month. You will really find how different Unacademy is from all other platforms. So please do subscribe and use the code Dr. Arpit Agarwal. Latest upcoming batches every week. So you will not get this particular benefit in any other coaching, offline or online. Best educators, unlimited access. Unlimited access to latest free tests with good MCQs created by educators like me. I am Dr. Arpit with many years of experience in teaching students. So let's start. Let us start. Are you all ready? Give me a thumbs up if you are ready for some very interesting clinical scenario based MCQ. And please do not forget to provide your feedback continuously during the class. Let's see. First question. First question on your screen. I will read the question, give you 30 seconds to answer. Shekhar and Dora have also joined. Datesh, Deepak Yadav, welcome all of you. 35-year-old woman has been on antidepressant for several months. Okay. Now she complains of missing her period and having galactorrhea. So she is a woman, 35-year-old, taking antidepressant, galactorrhea. Assessment suggests that she has developed some dyskinesia. Galactorrhea, dyskinesia. Pregnancy is negative. Which drug most likely have caused these findings? You have 30 seconds to answer. 30 seconds I'm giving you to answer. Think, use the time, take your time, do not hurry. Galactorrhea, dyskinesia, taking in a woman, missing her period, menstrual abnormality, pregnancy is negative. Which drug? Amoxapine, haloperidol, fluoxetine, sertraline. 60% have fallen for the trap. 60% students have fallen for the trap just because they are not reading the question carefully. And I hope now you understand you did not focus on the word. Which word? 60% have answered what? Haloperidol. Now tell me, is haloperidol an antidepressant? Tell me, is haloperidol an antidepressant drug? Yes or no? Those who answered haloperidol were able to diagnose the complete, they were able to diagnose the situation completely, but they did not focus on the word antidepressant. So देखिए, what has happened? Answer is amoxapine. Now what has happened in this patient? We are having symptoms of galactorrhea and menstrual abnormalities, missing her periods. What do these complaints suggest? Yes, Sayantan, that is good. Very good. Galactorrhea means increase in prolactin. Prolactin, number one. Second, dyskinesia. Dyskinesia, abnormal movement. Have you heard of tardive dyskinesia? I'm sure everybody has heard. So next problem this patient has developed is dyskinesia. Dyskinesia is a type of extrapyramidal side effect. Extrapyramidal side effect. So that means D2 blockade. D2 blockade can also cause increase in prolactin, if you remember, from hypothalamus. H is hypothalamus. What is secreted? Dopamine is secreted. Dopamine comes to pituitary. This is your pituitary. And dopamine will act on the D2 receptor on pituitary. These are D2 receptor. Dopamine will act on them. And what it will say to pituitary? It will say to pituitary, decrease prolactin. So dopamine decreases prolactin. So if you block this receptor, D2 blocker, prolactin will increase. So prolactin has increased. So 60% of you were able to reach the problem that this situation of galactorrhea dyskinesia is due to D2 blockade. But only very few of you read this term antidepressant. Haloperidol is totally out because it is antipsychotic. It is antipsychotic drug, not antidepressant drug. So then we are left with these A, C and D, and now answer is amoxapine. Why? So amoxapine, tell me which class of drug है amoxapine. Amoxapine किस category की drug है? It is an antidepressant. Number one, antidepressant. From which class? Tricyclic antidepressant. No, Yasir, not atypical. Tricyclic, but slightly it is different. It is what we call as tetracyclic. Tetracyclic, tri, 3 cyclical rings. Tetracyclic, 4 cyclical ring. So it has the same mechanism, but amoxapine has one interesting property. It is a tetracyclic, number one, and secondly, it has D2 blocking action. It has D2 blocking action, and because of D2 blocking action, it can also cause what we call as antipsychotic action. So we say it is an antidepressant with antipsychotic action. So it is useful in psychotic depression. Psychotic depression में इसका काम आता है. And because the drug has D2 blocking property, it will cause all the EPS, extrapyramidal, increase in prolactin. That is what question is asking. Which property? Within tricyclic, there is a tetracyclic molecule by the name amoxapine. ये पढ़ाया मैंने अपनी क्लास में. So is this thing clear? Amoxapine. What is amoxapine? It is a type of tricyclic, but it has 4 cyclical ring. Tetracyclic. It has additional reuptake inhibitor तो है ही ये, right? Tricyclic, RI, reuptake inhibitor with D2 blocking property. तो antipsychotic भी है और साथ में side effects भी आएंगे. So understood the question? Do not jump to haloperidol all the time. You see this antipsychotic side effect. Haloperidol is given just to confuse you. Understood? Tricks examiner is playing. तो जो आपको कंफ्यूज करेगा वो सबसे पहले ऑप्शन में आपको दिखेगा. So I hope you have understood this. Second, simple scenario. Patient presents with what? Overdose of a drug. Most worrisome symptom include excessive cardiac stimulation. Tachycardia हो गया है, palpitation, angina. Physician orders beta blocker. Emergency में patient आया है, cardiac stimulation है, beta blocker दिया है, because it is the only drug likely to normalize cardiac function and save patient's life. What was that likely drug overdosed on? इसने कौन सी drug ली है? सेकेंड जनरेशन सल्फोनाइलयूरिया, इंसुलिन, लीवोथायरोक्सिन, प्रोपाइलथायोयूरासिल. बताइए. सिंपल क्वेश्चन. You are in emergency. Patient comes in this format. He is having tachycardia, palpitation, angina. You have given him beta blocker, saying that this is the only drug that will save this patient's life. So it's good to see most of you are answering it correctly. Very common scenario. Very common scenario. Very likelihood that this can happen. So you should be able to answer this one correctly. So now I hope you have understood. This is a patient of hypothyroidism. This is a patient of hypothyroidism. And for treatment of hypothyroidism, this patient was taking levothyroxine. One day he took overdose. He wanted to commit suicide, so he took overdose of levothyroxine. And levothyroxine overdose, if you take, you will increase the basal metabolic rate, BMR. You are looking at symptoms of thyrotoxicosis. 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 That is what this patient has developed. तो क्या क्या सिम्टम होते हैं थायरोटॉक्सिकोसिस में, which you need to remember? बताइए. थायरोटॉक्सिकोसिस में what all symptoms you will think in mind? What all can happen? Yes, one by one. Siddharth, Lakshmi, Thunderclap, Sayantan. Thyrotoxicosis. एक तो cardiac stimulation. Cardiac stimulation, so tachycardia, palpitation, angina can be precipitated. All these stimulation which our patient has developed. दूसरा symptom होता है hyperthermia. Patient will have hyperthermia. और तीसरा हो सकता है unconsciousness और altered consciousness. Seizure आ सकते हैं. In our case, in this question, patient is presenting only with these symptoms. It is written most worrisome symptom. In this patient is only this. So we have to do symptomatic treatment by giving beta blocker. So this part is asked. But if this question asks you drug of choice for thyrotoxicosis or thyroid storm, then what will you take? Drug of choice for thyrotoxicosis or thyroid storm. तब आप क्या लगाएंगे? PTU. करेक्ट. तो देखिए फोर्थ ऑप्शन वो भी दिया हुआ है, जस्ट टू कंफ्यूज यू. PTU. ओवरऑल ड्रग ऑफ चॉइस पूछा जाएगा. PTU. सिम्टोमेटिक ट्रीटमेंट स्पेशली फॉर कार्डिक, बीटा ब्लॉकर. So I hope it is clear to you. Beta blocker are important, but they will control only cardiac symptom. So sometimes students are confused. That's a thyrotoxicosis. What is the drug of choice? Drug of choice will be PTU. Beta blocker will only control cardiac symptom. They will not treat hyperthermia. They will not treat altered consciousness. They will not treat metabolic acidosis. That is what is this patient having. Next, a 29-year-old woman with migraine was prescribed sumatriptan. Shortly after taking the drug, she developed muscle rigidity, myoclonus, and altered consciousness. Vital, that means pulse, temperature, they are unstable, falling. You learn that several months she has been taking another drug with which the triptan interacted. So this is important to understand, that you learn that for several months she had been taking another drug with which this triptan interacted. Which add-on drug most likely caused this problem? So with which drug that the patient was taking for several months, triptan have interacted and resulting condition. So what you are having? You are having myoclonus, muscle rigidity. That would lead to hyperthermia eventually. Temperature will go up. and you are having myoclonus. Myoclonus. What is your diagnosis? First of all, what has this patient developed? Treatment पे हम बाद में आएंगे. Yes, so very good. Yasser and Sayantan. You see, this patient has developed what we call as serotonin syndrome. Serotonin syndrome is characterized by four things: H, A, R, M. Harm is the mnemonic. Hyperthermia, myoclonus, muscle rigidity, and autonomic disturbances such as diarrhea. Autonomic system है GIT. Serotonin syndrome के चार important symptom हैं, out of which two are given in the question. Myoclonus with muscle rigidity, they are given in the question. Serotonin syndrome occurs whenever there is excessive serotonin action in our body. Excessive serotonin action. Now, combination of following drugs will lead to this excessive serotonin action. So if you combine any of them, number one, first serotonergic drug you have to keep in mind, SSRI. SSRI such as fluoxetine. There can be others, only one I am writing. Second, you have to also consider, in the order of importance I am telling you, serotonin 1B/1D agonist, and that is triptan. They are also serotonin agonist. Third, in the order of importance, tramadol. Tramadol कहाँ से आ गया आप कहेंगे? Tramadol is a mu agonist, but it is also reuptake inhibitor of serotonin. ये तीन जो मैंने आपको लिखे हैं, these are most important for MCQ. मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट ये हैं. फोर्थ में आप लिखेंगे माओ इनहिबिटर, ट्राइसाइक्लिक, बहुत कम है बट इसलिए आएंगे नहीं, SNRI. और पांचवा आप लिखेंगे लिथियम, और आप एक लिखेंगे L-tryptophan. L-tryptophan is very important, increases serotonin synthesis. L-tryptophan, tryptamine है serotonin, so L-tryptophan. Now see, focus on these two drugs. What has happened in this patient? There is a confusion, so I'll explain. देखिए, this is vesicle containing serotonin. Serotonin is released. It will act on whatever serotonin receptors are present. तो serotonin के जो भी receptor हैं, it will act. And after that it is taken up, reuptake होता है by serotonin reuptake transporter. So now you see what has happened in our case. We have given a drug triptan. Triptan are agonist. They stimulate serotonin receptor. So triptan are increasing serotonin activity in the body. They are agonist at serotonin receptor. Plus this patient was also taking SSRI, which inhibit reuptake. So SSRI inhibits serotonin reuptake. So serotonin was already more in the synapse. So patient के synapse में serotonin already ज़्यादा था. Plus you have given a drug which stimulates the receptor. So serotonin का level भी ज़्यादा है. Now you have stimulated receptor. Excessive serotonin action occurs. Serotonin syndrome has occurred, and that is why the answer is fluoxetine. तो sumatriptan देने पे, if you have muscle rigidity. Now I'll summarize. Please remember, these are the only two questions in sumatriptan. After giving sumatriptan, write this clearly. Sumatriptan दिया. Post that, after that, patient is having chest pain. तो आपने कर दिया है एंजाइना, एंड क्वेश्चन इज आस्किंग द वेसोकॉन्स्ट्रिक्टर प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ सुमरट्रेप्टान। चेस्ट पेन की अगर कंप्लेंट है तो वेसोकॉन्स्ट्रिक्टर प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ सुमरट्रेप्टान इज बीइंग आस्क्ड, बट आफ्टर गिविंग सुमरट्रेप्टान, if you are having muscle rigidity, then question is asking serotonin syndrome, serotonin syndrome, और उसको पेशेंट को या तो SSRI पहले मिला हुआ है या फिर आप देखेंगे ट्रामाडोल पेन किलर इन दी एमसीक्यू। तो इज दिस थिंग क्लियर कि सुमरट्रेप्टान पे क्या क्वेश्चन बनेंगे? ओनली दीज टू क्वेश्चंस। एग्रीड? क्लियर और नॉट? So chest pain, post sumatriptan, vasoconstriction की तरफ जा रहा है क्वेश्चन, मसल रिजिडिटी, सेरोटोनिन सिंड्रोम की तरफ जा रहा है क्वेश्चन। So please keep these things in mind. This is the time of examination. You have to be, important points have to be on your tips. ये आया ये आया ये. Only then you will be able to answer. Patient taking high dose of aspirin, common drug aspirin, for several weeks, develops salicylism or aspirin toxicity. Which sign or symptom would be consistent with salicylism? बताइए, सिंपल क्वेश्चन है कि सैलिसाइलेट टॉक्सिसिटी के लिए what will you warn the patient? एक क्वेश्चन आते हैं ना कि you are giving lithium, you are giving clindamycin, you are giving aspirin, so you will warn the patient about some symptom. तो ये वही सिम्टम है that you will warn the patient कि if this develops, come back immediately. If this symptom develops, come back immediately, and that is tinnitus in cases of aspirin. The tinnitus, ringing in ear develops, come back immediately, and I will change the drug or reduce the dose because you have developed toxicity of aspirin. Tinnitus is an early sign of aspirin toxicity. So if we reduce the dose at this sign, we will prevent serious life-threatening toxicity. So we will tell the patient कि अगर tinnitus हो गया, come back immediately, or reduce the dose, stop the drug. Clindamycin हो गया, which symptom will you warn? This question has been asked many times. You have prescribed clindamycin, what will you warn? Diarrhea. Very good, Anjana. Very good. Because this denotes what? This could denote what? Pseudomembranous enterocolitis. Very, very good. So immediately come back, Clostridium difficile. If you are giving lithium, which symptom you will warn the patient? Coarse tremor. देखिए tremor तो आएंगे. Coarse tremor, fine tremor will be there in normal dose. The moment you say coarse tremor develops, ataxia develops, diarrhea develops, come back immediately. Profuse diarrhea. Agreed that these kind of questions are the latest pattern question. Clinically, before prescribing a drug, you will warn the patient about this. कि ये हो जाए, come back immediately. So again, a latest pattern of question, clinically oriented question. As a doctor, before prescribing drug, which side effect you will keep in mind? They denote early toxicity. So if we do some intervention here, we can prevent serious toxicity. That is what question is asking. Clear? Everybody is clear? Do you think these are the type of questions that are coming up in exams nowadays? See, these are pharmacology questions. I am not talking medicine. I am not giving you too much sign and symptom. All I am taking important concepts of pharmacology which are clinically relevant. Aspirin is generally avoided in patients with gout. That is correct, because it opposes the effect of one important anti-gout drug. Which is that drug? So gout, aspirin, such a common combination. And here you will learn one very important point about gout also. So देखिए, how many times you have been told that aspirin should be avoided in gout? I hope all serious preparation, all serious students about NEET PG know this point. But reason आपसे पूछा गया है and only 20% are answering correctly. So now you see. Now you try and see this question. You have to draw the nephron. PCT, then descending down. अब देखिए ये है blood. This is blood vessel and this is the renal capsule, the proximal convoluted tubule, PCT. Uric acid. Uric acid is a very interesting substance. Uric acid पे focus कीजिए. Uric acid. Uric acid is both secreted. This is tubular secretion. Uric acid is secreted first in the tubule and then later it can be reabsorbed. So uric acid can also be reabsorbed. Tubular reabsorption. First it is secreted, then it is reabsorbed. Overall, now what will aspirin do? What will aspirin do? Aspirin is a very interesting substance. Please keep that in mind. Aspirin. You are giving number one low dose aspirin. Low dose को हम बोलते हैं generally less than 2 gram per day. कई books say 1 gram. You can say 1 gram, 2 gram. Low dose aspirin, when you give low dose aspirin will inhibit this process. Tubular secretion. Tubular secretion. And if you give high dose that is greater than 2, then it will inhibit this process. To focus on low dose aspirin, this is the normal dose of aspirin. हम normally aspirin इसी में use करते हैं. High dose we generally do not use. So at low dose, it is decreasing uric acid excretion in urine. Would you agree or not? At low dose, as you can see, it is decreasing uric acid excretion in urine. Correct or not? Tell me yes or no. Do you agree with what I have written? So now you tell me there is a drug which is decreasing uric acid excretion. So which action it is opposing? Now tell me, it is opposing which action now? Which action is being opposed? Uricose uric. And can you tell me any uricose uric drug in this options? Which is a uricose uric drug, Tara? Tell me. So now you know the answer. You see, only 20% were answering it correctly. So understood? Aspirin should be avoided in gout patient because in normal dose it decreases uric acid secretion into urine. So it will oppose the action of which gout drug? Probenecid. Clear hai? Aspirin has to be avoided in gout patient in normal dose. That is the reason. So I hope now it is clear. Normal dose जो हम use करते हैं, it decreases uric acid excretion. This diagram you remember. High dose of aspirin is not used nowadays. That is irrelevant. Only in theory that action exists. Now we have a question where we have a 35-year-old man who will be traveling to malaria endemic zone. Allopurinol की dose. So I'll wait here. Allopurinol पूछा है अंजना ने. Allopurinol. Allopurinol is what? Xanthine oxidase inhibitor. Correct? It will decrease uric acid synthesis. अब allopurinol पे हम आते हैं. Focus on allopurinol. Allopurinol की problem क्या है? Tell me. When is the allopurinol problem? What is the main toxicity of allopurinol? Yes, anyone? Since Anjana has asked, rash. Very, very good. A particular Mobiliform rash is there. And what are the situations that will increase the risk of this rash with allopurinol? What are the situations where the risk of this rash goes up? The risk of this rash goes up in three situations. Can you tell me when is the risk of rash high with allopurinol? If the patient is taking an antibiotic by the name ampicillin. If the patient is taking a diuretic called thiazide. And if the patient is having chronic kidney disease, or we can say decreased clearance of creatinine, decreased creatinine clearance. So Tara, to answer your question, dose of allopurinol, okay, dose of allopurinol is reduced in patients who are having chronic kidney disease. Chronic kidney disease, thiazide ampicillin you should avoid with allopurinol. अगर जरूरत हो तो आप डोज कम करें. So that is about allopurinol. The question I think that confused you, 6-mercaptopurin. 6-mercaptopurin, if given with allopurinol, then dose of 6-mercaptopurin has to be reduced, not of allopurinol. Dose of 6-mercaptopurin has to be reduced. That's a totally different question. So all of you agree or not? And all of you do remember chronic kidney disease. Chronic kidney disease. So patient, let's say patient is having chronic kidney disease and you want to give a xanthine oxidase inhibitor, then which xanthine oxidase inhibitor will you give? Which is better in patients with chronic kidney disease? Which xanthine oxidase inhibitor does not require dose reduction in chronic kidney disease? Can you tell me that? Yes, Sayantan, that is very, very good. And so is Shekhar, so is Prabhakar. Febuxostat. So I hope now you have also understood the importance of febuxostat. It is also a xanthine oxidase inhibitor like allopurinol, but it does not require dose reduction in patients with renal failure. Otherwise, everywhere else allopurinol is used. So rash आप याद रखें allopurinol. मलेरिया एंडेमिक रीजन पे जा रहा है 35-year-old men. Physician starts him on oral artesunate prior to his trip. Drug is likely to be ineffective as prophylactic because. बताइए. Artesunate is ineffective as prophylactic. Why? I'm repeating this question. थोड़े time पहले I told you this. I think last week I discussed this, so I hope you will remember. So those who have attended my previous class should be able to answer this question. Should be able to answer this question correctly. Malaria endemic zone. Oral artesunate ineffective as prophylaxis. So which drugs are not effective for prophylaxis of malaria and what is the reason? Answer here is D. Its active metabolite has short plasma T-half. Let me tell you this important point. Malaria prophylaxis, not effective drugs. Not effective. Number 1, artesunate and quinine. Both are not effective. You see, not effective for prophylaxis because they are short-acting drugs. For prophylaxis, please remember you need long-acting drugs. They will not act throughout the day, so they are useless as prophylaxis for malaria. You should not use them, any artesunate or any derivative of quinine. Second, sulfadoxin, pyrimethamine. It is also not effective, never used for prophylaxis. Why? Tell me why. It should never be given for prophylaxis of malaria. Why? It should never be given for prophylaxis of malaria. Why? ये long acting है, but it is never used for prophylaxis of malaria. Why is that? Why is that? बताइए फटाफट. अरे Turtle says cross resistance, KK says SJS, that is very good. Sometimes inner mind tells this option is correct, but hand, acha, Prabhakar will come to that. Correct, KK, you are correct. It causes severe rash, sometimes resulting in Steven Johnson's syndrome. So it should never be used for prophylaxis of malaria. Third, chloroquine is not used for prophylaxis of malaria because it is no longer effective against falciparum. So it can protect against vivax but not against falciparum. So prophylaxis mein you don't know which mosquito will bite, so it is useless. And now you tell me this particular drug, primaquine, very very important. First of all, tell me, can primaquine be used as prophylaxis or not? Primaquine. Can primaquine be used as prophylaxis? Primaquine. Prabhakar says yes. Others also. Siddharth also says yes. Primaquine आप दे रहे हैं. Gametocidal drug है and hypnozoid killing drug है. So in theory, it can be used as what we call as causal prophylaxis. But such prophylaxis is not practiced because of the development of resistance. It is not practiced. So in theory, it can be used. In theory, it can be considered for prophylaxis, but in practice, this is never used nowadays. Causal prophylaxis we do not practice nowadays. Or which prophylaxis we give for malaria? Suppressive prophylaxis. Suppressive prophylaxis हम देते हैं जिसमें doxycycline और mefloquine देते हैं. Causal prophylaxis है primaquine. So in theory it can be given, but it is not used. So Prabhakar, what was your point? You were saying that you feel like answering this, but then you think and then you arrive at a different answer and then you take that. My suggestion is, whenever you read a question, there are two situations. You have an MCQ which you are not sure. You read it and there is an instant answer in your mind. Instant answer is there, subconsciously. But then you think over it, and then you think over it, you have a different answer. This happens with all of us. How many of you agree with this situation? How many of you agree with this situation that it happens? Now see, there is obviously no clear-cut solution. I can only share my experience. So you may agree, you may not agree. My experience is, this is definitely wrong answer. This is definitely wrong answer. So you can forget about this. This will never be correct. Coming to this instant answer. Now there are two situations in this instant answer. So we will remove this thinking and answering. This is totally wrong all the time. 90% out of 100, this will be wrong. Because you have too much applied. Don't keep any question for review in which you are having no idea. If you are having some confusion, genuine confusion, then you can keep, otherwise it's no point. Now, what are the situation? Instant answer. Both we are taking instant answer. Now see what happens. If the examiner is very smart, or if he is smartly designing the question, this answer will always be wrong. Because the question was created to confuse you, like the first question I gave you. This one. Haloperidol. Haloperidol was kept to confuse you. So if the examiner has smartly kept the options, then this answer will always be wrong. So that is the confusion and that is the decision that you have to make, whether you take this instant answer or not. In my opinion, in my humble opinion, always tick. Always tick. There is 1/4 negative marking. So my experience or my suggestion is that if you have read something and there is some subconscious answer coming, even if you take 4 wrong and 1 is correct out of every 5, you are still at no loss. If you leave everything, then I don't think it is a good way. So it's like a cricket match. The bowler is Brett Lee very fast, Shoaib Akhtar very fast. But if you do not play, if you leave all the balls, how will you score? So my thing is, at least play the question, attempt, take a guess, take some risk. But instead of leaving, if you keep on leaving, then you will end up leaving 40% of the paper. And that is not going to benefit you at all. So that is what risk you have to take, but do not think and arrive at an answer. That is always wrong. That is my observation. Patient has inoperable pancreatic islet cell carcinoma. Inoperable pancreatic islet cell carcinoma. And is chronically hypoglycemic. So that means he is having what we call as insulinoma. That is why he is hypoglycemic. Secreting insulin, hypoglycemic. Which drug can be used for long-term oral therapy that raises blood glucose level? This you should be able to answer. ये drug हम पढ़ते कहीं और है, and the question is asked in endocrinology. Questions are you feeling? Questions are interesting, not very difficult or not out of syllabus kind of thing. They are pharmacology question. Do you think they are similar to what we expect in the coming papers? That is very important. Feedback, your feedback is very, very important. So you see, answer is diazoxide. Diazoxide. Diazoxide is a potassium channel opener. And by opening potassium channel, it is an arteriolar dilator. So we study this drug in the antihypertensive chapter. But then we have to understand diazoxide has a problem. And what is that problem? By opening these potassium channels on the pancreatic beta cell, it affects the potassium channel on pancreatic beta cell, and by doing that, it decreases insulin release. So if you take it chronically, it will cause hyperglycemia and diabetes. So what are the uses of diazoxide? It is given short term, that is IV, in hypertension, and that is only for crisis. This is a very good vasodilator. It decreases BP very nicely. BP आपका कम हो जाएगा, control आ जाएगा, but you will develop hyperglycemia on chronic use. So long-term management of hypertension is never done with diazoxide because of risk of hyperglycemia. So then long-term, given oral, the drug is used for symptomatic control of insulinoma. That is the property you want to remember. It decreases insulin release. That is a side effect in hypertension, but this is used in symptomatic control of insulinoma. Nicorandil का ऐसा नहीं है exactly. Nicorandil is a more selective drug for coronary artery. Coronary artery पे ज़्यादा selective drug है. Minoxidil, Nicorandil, they are all potassium channel opener, but minoxidil is mainly used in growing hair. Nicorandil is mainly used in angina. तो ये इफेक्ट पैनक्रियाटिक बीटा सेल्स पे mainly seen with which drug? Diazoxide. So I hope you have understood what is the question asking. Diazoxide. IV use hypertension, oral use insulinoma. It will increase blood sugar. Some patients who are taking high doses of bisphosphonates, alendronate, zoledronate, for Paget's disease develop an endocrine metabolic disorder. What disorder would that be? So bisphosphonate का long term side effect पूछा गया है. Bisphosphonates decrease bone resorption because apoptosis in osteoclast is dying. So this is your bone. There is a cell, osteoclast. This is inside the bone. I'm just showing outside. Osteoclast is causing bone resorption. So calcium, it is eating bone. Osteoclast, not blast. It is eating bone resorption. So calcium will be released from bone, and come into blood. So when bone resorption decreases, osteoclast die. Bisphosphonate, they kill osteoclast. So bone resorption decreases, calcium coming into blood decreases. So you have hypocalcemia. So that is a common side effect of bisphosphonates. It occurs in almost all the patients. So you have to supplement with calcium whenever you give bisphosphonate. But due to hypocalcemia, a secondary increase will occur in parathyroid hormone. Remember, parathyroid hormone is there in your body to increase serum calcium. So whenever there is hypocalcemia, parathyroid hormone increases, and you are looking at hyperparathyroidism as a metabolic disorder in long run. Hyperparathyroidism will occur rarely. It is rare, not very common, but it can occur in long term. और hyperparathyroidism से calcium का क्या होगा? Tell me, what will happen to calcium when there is hyperparathyroidism? What will it do to calcium in blood? Hyperparathyroidism, high. So hypercalcemia. So please remember now. Side effects of bisphosphonate क्या है commonly? Common side effect क्या है bisphosphonate का? Hypocalcemia. And what is the rare side effect? Hypercalcemia. Is this thing clear? Same drug can cause both. One patient hypocalcemia, another patient hypercalcemia. Do not get confused. This is the order. Commonly hypocalcemia occurs. That stimulates parathyroid hormone release. अगर रिलीज ज्यादा हो गई तो हाइपरकैल्सीमिया हो जाएगा in long run. In few patients, as I told you, this is rare. The common problem is this is rarely going to occur, but that rare question is asked in PPG. 30-year-old woman lymphadenitis हो गई है, decreasing eyesight, diagnosed with oncocera, river blindness कहते हैं आप इसको, river blindness caused by oncocera. It is a helminth. Both ivermectin and diethylcarbazine are known to be effective. But why is ivermectin chosen? Why is ivermectin chosen over diethylcarbazine? Filaria की तरफ हम चले गए हैं. Filariasis. Repeat question है in my class. The topic is not widely discussed, so I am repeating this question in short interval. कुछ दिन पहले I told you this. Filariasis. So those only who attended my class, that previous class, I think last week or last to last week, are able to answer. देखिए pre-PG, Just because some topics are less important, it does not mean you can leave out those topics. यहाँ पे क्या है? Two kind of filaria are there: Vaucheria, Bona, Crafti, लोवा. ये क्या करते हैं? मेनली lymphatic filariasis. Lymphatic filariasis, जिसको you also call as elephantiasis. And there is a different one which is known as onchocerca. Onchocerca mainly affects eye. It causes what we call as river blindness. अफ्रीका और साउथ अमेरिका में मोस्ट कॉमन है ये डिजीज. For these lymphatic filariasis, the drug that we give is diethylcarbazine. Diethylcarbazine. What diethylcarbazine does? It will cause damage to membrane of this parasite. So membrane damage. And that is followed by phagocytosis of this filaria. So membrane damage is the word. Due to membrane damage, there is some inflammatory reaction which happens as a side effect. So fever, rash, joint pain, these kind of things can occur when you give which drug? Diethylcarbazine. If this inflammatory reaction happens in eye, if you give it for eye disease, then you will have worsening of the lesion. Eye problems will become more exaggerated. Eye can have permanent damage. So in which kind of filariasis you will not give DEC? Tell me, in which kind of filariasis you will not give DEC? Is it now clear? In which organ we do not want to cause inflammation? समझ में आ गया आपको कि when you give diethylcarbazine, the membrane of the parasite Vaucheria loa is damaged. Because of that, filaria is killed. But that membrane damage causes an inflammatory reaction and worsening of lesions can occur. तो lymph में होता है normally, legs में, hands में तो कोई problem नहीं है. Eye में if it happens, eye will have permanent damage. So that is why DEC may worsen ocular lesion. रिवर ब्लाइंडनेस में जो आंखों में लीजन हो रहा है, यूवियाइटिस जो हो रही है, इट कैन वर्सन. सो व्हिच ड्रग विल बी गिवन? Ivermectin. And who is going to tell us the mechanism of ivermectin? Mechanism of ivermectin, who is going to tell me? Ivermectin, what is the mechanism? GABA. It will prolong or it will stimulate GABA mediated chloride channel. GABA mediated chloride channel, it will increase or open, resulting in what we call as which paralysis? Word you are looking for is flaccid paralysis. Please remember, flaccid paralysis, no membrane damage, no worsening of lesion. So ivermectin, DEC. Which topic you have discussed? Filarial disease. Drugs for filariasis covered. This is what is asked. Diethylcarbazine, ivermectin. Newborn has hemodynamic problems because of patent ductus arteriosus. Which drug would be administered in attempt to close? This is very common situation in India. PDA. Which drug will you give to close this? Patent ductus arteriosus. Simple question hai. Focus on this and focus on this. Patent ductus arteriosus. Ductus is kept open by prostaglandins. Ductus is a fetal vessel. It remains open in fetal life because of prostaglandins. So it can be closed. It can be closed by giving NSAID because they decrease prostaglandin synthesis by inhibiting COX. So which is their NSAID? Given indomethacin. So NSAID like indomethacin is the best drug of choice. So that is the answer to this question, indomethacin. Now there is another question, and please try to remember, understand this question. What is that question? Child is born with congenital, C for congenital, heart disease. Suppose there is a ventricular septal defect, atrial septal defect, and for that you will have to perform surgery. Now till time of surgery, till surgery can be performed, you as doctor want to keep PDA open. You do not want the fetal circulation to stop. You want to keep PDA open. Then you tell me which drug will be given out of this. So you have understood. Then we will give prostaglandin. And which prostaglandin? PGE1 analog. Now tell me which are PGE1 analogs that you know. PGE1 analogs हम देंगे for keeping the PDA open. So there are two given, C and D. Misoprostol is also PGE1, sorry, and L-prostadil is also PGE1. But which one is used here? This, not misoprostol. Misoprostol is used for some other abortion or peptic ulcer. Here, to keep PDA open, which PGE1 analog is given? L-prostadil. L-prostadil. So two questions are asked. Please try to understand. If PDA is there and you want to close it, give NSAID, decrease prostaglandin, indomethacin. If child is born with some heart disease, you want to do surgery, and till surgery you want to keep PDA open, give prostaglandin, L-prostadil, PGE1 analog. That is a very, again, interesting choice of options, just to confuse you. 70-year-old men with a long-term therapy with a drug X develops hypertension, hyperglycemia, and decreased bone mineral density. Stool sample were positive for occult blood, and the stools developed a coffee ground appearance. Which drug? Long-term therapy ले रहा है drug X के साथ. What is drug X? That is what question is asked. Read the question again carefully. Questions के option carefully you will read. So we are having hypertension. There is a drug X, and due to long-term therapy of drug X, we are developing side effects of hypertension. Patient is developing side effect of hyperglycemia. He is developing decreased bone mineral density, and there is blood in stool. Stool is having blood. That is why that is coffee ground appearance. It is such a simple question. Long-term therapy of drug X, hypertension. Drug X is having mineralocorticoid action. That is leading to hypertension. Drug X causes what we call as gluconeogenesis in liver, or glycogenolysis, that is causing hyperglycemia. Drug X has the ability to increase osteoclast function, leading to osteoporosis or bone mineral density, and drug X can cause silent means without pain, perforation, silent perforation or worsening of peptic ulcer. Blood in stool. Which drug is coming to your mind? Which drug has all the side problem? Which class of drug are you looking for now? Tell me. Mineralocorticoid action is there, gluconeogenesis is there, decreasing bone mineral density is there, perforation of peptic ulcer. These all are side effects of glucocorticoid. Systemic glucocorticoids. So pamidronate is bisphosphonate, that is out. Metformin is different. What is left? Glucocorticoid. Prednisolone is a glucocorticoid. Beclomethasone. Both are glucocorticoid. How is beclomethasone given and for which disease? Tell me. Beclomethasone. Beclomethasone is given for asthma, and it is used inhaled. It is an inhaled corticosteroid. Inhaled corticosteroid do not produce these systemic side effects. So what is the answer? Systemic side effect, prednisolone. That is the answer. Prednisolone. Such a commonly given drug, methyl prednisolone, prednisolone, you give for long term, patient will have this, 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 and this. These are the four most likely side effects that patient will see. Minor problem that he will definitely have is acne. Another serious problem he can have is cataract. So if I ask you side effect of glucocorticoid, most of you will answer. But when I have asked deflazacort में भी है तो corticosteroid, that is a trade name. Next question. A 22-year-old woman sexually assaulted. She wishes to have pregnancy terminated by pharmacological mean. What is generally the most appropriate drug, assuming no contraindication out of the following? So sexual assault हो गया है. And we are giving a drug. We are giving a drug for termination of pregnancy. Termination of pregnancy. What is the most common drug? अब देखिए यहाँ पे यही क्वेश्चन कंफ्यूजिंग आपको कर देता है एंड यू डू नॉट रियलाइज. एक है टर्मिनेशन ऑफ प्रेगनेंसी और दूसरा है इमरजेंसी कॉन्ट्रासेप्शन. डू यू अंडरस्टैंड द डिफरेंस? इस क्वेश्चन को वापस अटेम्प्ट कीजिए. नाउ वापस यू हैव टू अटेम्प्ट अगेन. मार्क द आंसर अगेन. नाउ इमरजेंसी कॉन्ट्रासेप्शन अलग है, मेडिकल टर्मिनेशन ऑफ प्रेगनेंसी. यहां क्या है? टर्मिनेशन ऑफ प्रेगनेंसी, नॉट कॉन्ट्रासेप्शन. You do not know how many days after this sexual assault this woman has come. So you are looking for MTP, abortifacient. समझे आप? इमरजेंसी कॉन्ट्रासेप्टिव का भी ये क्वेश्चन हो सकता है, बट राइट नाउ क्वेश्चन इज आस्किंग MTP. This is how we stand at the end of our session today. Amit has done very good, 13 out of 13. Turtle has done 11, very good. These were difficult questions today. Prabhakar has done 9. Yusuf Hakim is back in the form with 9. Sayantan is always there with 8. Datesh Patel is also doing good, 8. Lakshmi 8 also. Thunderclap 8. Anirudh 7 and Sagit Sachin 7. So congratulations to all the topper. Prabhakar, you joined late, no problem, you are a good student. So all I want to emphasize in this question, this is MTP. For MTP we can use mifepristone. First trimester MPPT, mifepristone. Other drug that we can use is methotrexate. For emergency contraception also we can use mifepristone. We can use Uliprist. We can use levonorgestrel. But here, answer, because you thought this and still marked this, you have saved your marks. But please read the question carefully. Pregnancy termination is not the job of emergency contraception. So please, if instead of mifepristone, you are suppose given E as Uliprist and F as methotrexate, then what will you now take? What will you now take? Tell me quickly. Yes, so now Uliprist, nahi, termination of pregnancy. Uliprist is emergency contraception. Contraception means preventing pregnancy. यहाँ पे बात हो रही है termination of pregnancy, abortion. That is what you have to keep in mind. So these are gynecological questions. So that is what we had. We are left with some of the questions, but you can practice them on your own. Do not have time. 5 p.m. today, same time. I will see you again with another episode of Super Saturday Quiz Part 2. Again, latest pattern, match the following type of question. Match the following pattern of question we will see. Okay. Tomorrow there is no, today we have done 5 p.m. So do join at 5 p.m. Thank you all.